Good evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. For those that tune in over stream, YouTube, Facebook, uh, for those that tune in on my show with TikTok's under HCS 895. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. Uh, Tonight, spiritual talk and ignoring negative people is the talk for tonight, or negative people, negative situations. That's what we'll be talking here tonight on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Let me share out my live to the groups that I shared to. There we go. All shared out, brothers and sisters. Who we got here tonight? Brother Joel Burgess. We got somebody named Drift. Sister Edna. Brother Andres from the UK. How you doing? We got two people from the UK, Drift, Sink, and Brother Joel. Awesome, brother. Sounds like a fish fry to me. Míralo. ¿Qué hubo, primo? It's cousin Jesse right there. How you doing, cuz? Did you get to see the wrestling? I was watching the wrestling on Peacock. The Revolution or Evolution. I know Brother Josh is still on. I know he was on a few moments ago, but I'm just here doing this quick live. See how long it goes. I see people still got my name in their mouth. They don't know when to stop. You know, they continue to, play the games that they play, but I'm just trying to ignore them. The only thing I could honestly say is that I gave an opportunity, right, to these individuals that keep on talking negative about me. I give them an opportunity to settle it with me, right? To settle it with me they chose not to settle it with me. And what I mean by that is, you know, handle it like grown men. And they chose not to, right? Because they're not about that. I'm about that. Sarncias is, where I've been and what I've done while I served the United States Army. I hear where this guy's talking about somebody slapping me in the face or something like that. Uh, this guy's wouldn't know what to do with Sarncias because Sarncias would be all over him, man, like white on rice. Uh, one of them, the fat one that keeps on talking mess now. He's from the Rio Grande Valley where I'm from, and supposedly some things happened between him and his sister that's sick. He did something to her. So this guy decides that he wants to start talking bad about me. Uh, when I knew all along you were infiltrating, you were affiliated with them, just by the things that you were asking me. I got all kinds of screenshots, but to me, you're the past, man. You're like the past, literally. Uh, I really don't care about you. I mean, I think there was one day you were running your mouth, talking that you were gonna kick my ass and all this kind of stuff. Then I made a video and I said, okay, well, meet me at the truck stop. There's a truck stop nearby where I live, and you never stopped by. Now you're crying like a like a female, or a female dog, should I say? You're crying, talking about that I threatened you, I threatened your mom, your sister. No, man, I never threatened them. I said, I know where you live because you were living in Harlingen at the time. Back then, I was talking about you, not about any of your family members. You're the one that came at me in a negative way. Why would I want to do anything to any of your family members? Is if somebody caused them harm, you caused them harm. You caused your mother harm. You caused your sister harm. It was you that caused them harm. Me, I just wanted to settle the score that you had my name in your mouth and you said you wanted to fight me, that you were going to kick my ass. I wanted to see what you're about, right? But you never said nothing about it. So now after what, a year after you said that, yeah, you want to come up and start talking about me, because you're not going to man up. We already know that. None of the people that are going to man up. So why are you wasting my time? That's why I'm trying to move on forward. I've been moving on forward, as y'all can see, with my content and the subscribers. But y'all keep on. I got a lot of screenshots of the past that I can use. But why am I going to use things that y'all irrelevant to me? I mean, honestly, y'all irrelevant to me. Because the way I handle business is differently. You don't want to go to that level, so why even mess with me, man? If you're not man enough, I'll say it like that. If you're not man enough to settle it with me, like I want to settle it, then you're not up par to my level to handle any kind of business with me. So that's from now on. I'm just gonna leave y'all in the past. You're irrelevant to me. In Spanish, we got certain name for this kind of people, panochas. Panochas, which means they're not men at all. They ain't got no cojones. Uh, they don't got no testicle fortitude of any kind of sort. They're like viejas, women, like women. They just like to gossip and like to start stuff. So yeah, Fat Cuffin Tom, you wouldn't last with me, man. You said I'm just responding to what you said on that video that you made. They say you're gonna whoop my ass. You ain't gonna whoop nothing, man. Hey, you know where I live? Temple, Texas, man. You want to find out what I'm about? All you got to do is stop by and let me know, and we'll settle it. mano a mano, hombre a hombre. But you're not a hombre, and I know you ain't gonna stop by. You ain't gonna call me. You ain't gonna hit me up because you ain't about that. You ain't about that, man. You never have been about that. I mean, when I heard that you were gonna use a pipe on a certain on Wolf, it's like now that you're affiliated with been affiliated with them. Not that you have that you jump camp. You've been affiliated with them. I wonder what kind of pipe you're really talking about. I'm thinking you're getting piped down over there in where he's from. You're getting piped down by the gringos, by Dirty Larry and Roach King. You're getting piped down, ain't you? Pinche maricón. Joto, you're a joto, maricón. That's why you're over there with your boyfriend, right? The gayer guy. Yeah, I'm doing this little addressing these issues here because for the past, I guess they started surfacing up, trying to talk about the past that me and Wolf we are friends and we were friends. I never had a problem with Wolf. It was all the other people that were trying to come at me that had the problem with Wolf. I never had any problem with Wolf. Is when the instigators came that they were saying this and this to me about him, that he was saying certain things about me, and y'all doing the same thing to him. You, the ones that were inside infiltrating, right? Saying that I was saying this and that, but you're trying to play both of us. But I never had a problem with him. Matter of fact, I was always just giving him spiritual advice because he was getting mad at y'all. He wanted to take care of business, but he had to stay calm. Not let the I know what y'all are trying to do, but it didn't work. So the reason uh, Fat Titty Cuffington is pissed off is because he came to me crying, crying, literally crying, like the crybaby that he is, literally crying that he was upset because of Sister Madeline. He was upset because Sister Madeline got with Anthony. So he came crying to me saying that because everybody else that got involved, well, what he did, he was trying to cause division, right? So it backfired on him. The division that he was trying to do, he was trying to make it seem that at first he tried to make it seem that he was on Maddie's side, which there was part of the infiltration. He's trying to make it seem like he was her friend. Then when he found out that she was doing her thing with brother Anthony, he got pissed off. And what's sad about it, he thought he had a chance with her. That's what is really crazy about it. Even though he's married, he was married. He was married and thought somewhere in his sick mind, he thought he had a chance with Maddie because he was supposed to be the hero in shining armor. And what happened? It blew up right in his face, right? He was already affiliated with the other camp. Uh, he would ask me questions, and I would respond in a certain way just to see what he was going to say to me. So I already knew he was affiliated with the other camp. I've been knowing, and I have a lot of screenshots to prove what I'm saying. Right? They always talking about you got proof. Well, I got proof. So this guy got mad because he was trying to get me to choose over him, choose his side, and because supposedly they all were mad. He was mad. Larry was mad. The guy from Germany was mad, and those people were mad because of what had happened. But that wasn't the case. The case was that he was trying to see if I was going to believe the bullshit that he was trying to feed me. So I did it and I said, look, it's not my business. They're grown adults. That's what I said. They're grown adults. She's a grown adult. Brother Anthony's a grown adult. Let them be them. So why would I interfere in anything like that? And what is it of your concern if they're making an adult decision to have a relations? That's between them. It shouldn't be your business at all, especially that you're married, right? You're like, but she's my friend. I really care about her. I don't like how Wolf was yelling, and I don't like her being mistreated that way. Blah blah blah. But he was the one instigating. He was the one that started by saying stuff to Wolf, right? Instigating shit. So he come crying to me one night and sent me. First, he talked to me like literally like he was crying. He was pissed. The fat ass couldn't even breathe right because he was. I don't know if he was high on something or what, but he could barely breathe and he was pissed off. He was so pissed off. He almost sounded like a man because if you ever talk to him over on the phone, he doesn't sound like a man at all. He talks more feminine, right? So I'm like, man, calm down. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's none of your business. You're married. You got your wife in the Rio Grande Valley. Why are you making it your business? Whatever they do, that's their business. You know. So then he said that they come at him, but it's because of him. He was pissed off because he found out Sister Madeline and Anthony had a thing going on. So he got pissed off because maybe that's one of the main reasons he was trying to move to Austin. So when that backfired in his face, he got pissed off, and he's is one of the guys that caused all kinds of problems for Sister Madeline, Brother Anthony, Brother Josh Turner. It was him because he didn't get his way. Boo hoo. Boo hoo. Boo hoo 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 hoo. You didn't get your way. Me, I'm trying to be a nice guy, listening to this crap on the phone. Then he sent me a message one day talking about, not that I want you to choose sides. Basically, when somebody says that to you, it's because they want you to choose sides, and he started talking about the same thing. I had already told him about what I thought about that situation, right? That it's not of my business, it's not of his business, it's nobody's business. Nobody's business, because it's just between them two, right? So yeah, he was trying to get me to choose sides and all this stuff, blah blah blah. When he did that, man, I was already tired. I was already fed up with all the messages that I'm gonna tell you. The only me and Brother Josh, we really wouldn't communicate that much. But all the messages that I was getting that was messing up my sleep at nighttime was from Dana Ortega, Larry, and Big Titty Cuffington. So those are the people. The first one that I unfriended off my friends list was Dana Ortega, like a year before all the stuff happened, because or half a year before everything went down, I unfriended her because I felt that she had a part of doing of everything that was happening, that she was infiltrating. Then When all that other happened, I blocked Covington, Larry, and the guy from Germany. So there you go, uh, Big Titty Covington. You know, if you're gonna say something, say the real deal. Don't say a half-ass story. Don't half-ass it. Put a little clip of something. Say the truth, man. Say remember the time you were all pissed off and you just put it this way. He was so pissed off. It sounded like he was crying. Yeah, it sounded like he was crying. Like somebody broke his heart. How is somebody going to break your heart if you're already married, man? You're a married man. You know, you're crying, literally crying on the phone. I'm I'm a combat veteran. I fought the front lines as a man. Do you think I want to hear you crying on the phone, crying over a female that didn't even belong to you in any kind of way, shape, or form? She was just your friend. I want to hear that crap. Yeah, literally crying on the phone, trying to say that that me and Josh were never friends. Yeah, we were friends before anything, even down. I don't know who he was who was his associates, who is affiliated. I know people talk. I know how conversations can be. I wasn't focused on what anybody would think about me because I was doing my own thing. I was doing my show, Positive Spiritualist, on YouTube, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on YouTube. I'm on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on Facebook. Then I went onto YouTube. But Brother Just Turner was a friend before y'all try to make him seem like we're enemies, which we were never enemies. And he's not kissing my ass. I'm not kissing his ass. We're just friends. That's it. You're the ones that was trying to cause you wanted us to fight and all this stuff, right? It was you, Fat Titty Cuffington, that wanted us to fight. How you doing, Claire Porter? So I'm just addressing it the best way that I can, just be by saying it straight up. They always talk about evidence and all this stuff when their evidence that they have is not legit. They just use certain things, certain clips, only with the one I use, but they don't say the truth. But I remember that day. I think Fat Titty Covington, since he was Brother Josh Turner was allowed to stay there, was always eavesdropping on what Sister Maddie was doing. That's how sick of a guy he was. How would you find out if somebody was having relations, not unless you were freaking spying or listening what they were doing, right? And like I said, that's their relationship. That's between them two. Then after that, you want to continue to make fun of her and him, trying to make it seem like they did something wrong. They didn't do nothing wrong. That's what happens when you like a person or the person likes you. Certain things happen. It could be a date in the movies. It could be a walk along the beach. It could be just associating, talking as friends. Then if something happens, that's between them too. It's none of your damn business. Basically, that's what I was saying. Fat Titty Cuffington. It was never your damn business. And for what you did to spread the rumor that you did, that's wrong. Just because You feel rejected. I don't know why you even feel rejected if she had nothing to do with you, man. Right? Nothing to do with you. You're not a good looking guy. So I'm addressing this right now, brothers and sisters, because you know I get tired of them saying stuff. So I'm just saying how it is. That's one thing about me is if I tell a person, hey, don't be sending me this text anymore throughout the night. I'm telling you for a reason. Dirty Larry, Dana. I'm a nice guy, but y'all doing it constantly. That's why I unfriended y'all because I got tired of my phone beeping 24/7 at nighttime while I'm trying to get some sleep. That was before I would even do the night lives. You know, so they didn't want to listen. So I had to unfriend them. Oh yeah, I'd love to do that too, brother Joel. Show them what Sarsi is all about. I've been wanting to because they continue to come at me negative way. It's basically what I'm saying. Why is he mad at Sister Madeline because of the relation she had with Brother Anthony? It's none of his damn business. Or for anybody to try to make fun of him, it's like I said, none of their damn business. So that's just to show you what kind of people these people are. That it could be a good thing being with somebody, right? And then you seen what they try to do to me when they always try to bring my wife in the picture. I'm a happily married man. I'm not interested in no other woman. I'm happily married. But that's the type of people they are. They try to spread rumors, try to falsify themselves, say bad things about you, right? Because they're trying to tarnish somebody's reputation or trying to paint you to be a certain way. They're just, uh, I'm not going to say evil people. I'm just going to say uh, dumbasses. I'll say it like that, dumbasses. That's what they are. Because they got nothing else better to do. I don't know if they're washing out, but I'm just being straight up, man. Yeah, Cuffington. You wouldn't last a chance against me in my prime or even now. You wouldn't last a chance against me, man. No, I just don't know why you continue to bring my name in my mouth or trying to disrespect me because I serve the United States Army. You know, I am a combat veteran. Do you know what a combat veteran is? It's somebody that's seen action in combat, man. I'm a combat veteran, and you want to talk bad about me, saying that someone needs to slap me in the mouth? How about you come by over here, give me a holler through Messenger, and see what happens, man? You talking a big game. Let's see how big your game is. You talk a big game. I want to see. I want to see what you're about, so I can break you down like the bitch that you are. I break you down so bad that you'll be calling me Mr. CS. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I'll teach you a lesson of a lifetime. Keep on putting my name in your mouth. So, what I'm saying is, first of all, I'm not afraid of y'all in any kind of way, shape, or form. You come at me in a negative way, I hope that ass. Females, they're in the cab, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, and I'm being nice when I say this. Stay in the kitchen, do your laundry, and stay away from an adult situation. In my case, I'm a man. In their case, they're not men because they can't handle it against a real man, a combat veteran man. So basically, what I'm telling the whole camp is, close camp, leave me alone, leave everybody alone because you're just shit starters. That's all y'all do. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the other clown that was drunk off his ass saying he was going to come visit me. He never showed up. I was working out especially for him. He never showed up. Said he was going to come down here to Temple, Texas, and take care of business. He never came. I waited for him. He wouldn't even have. He wouldn't last. He wouldn't even last a minute. Not even a minute. Half a minute with me. That's why I called it spiritual talk and ignoring negative people. I've been doing my best to ignore them. I've been putting on my content to put on my shows, but they continue. They continue and they continue and continue. The only thing is, you want to know what kind of a combat veteran I am. All you got to do is man up, and I laugh about that because, like I said, I'm a combat veteran, and y'all not man enough. You're more on the feminine side. I seen the day you were talking, trying to man up with me on the recording you did, and your voice crackled like a bitch. I was like, oh man, I was licking my chops. I was like, okay, go ahead, keep on squeezing the little cajones to let the little bit of the manhood out of you, and come do the mistake of trying to fight Sarncias because Sarncias is going to have you for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Amen, brother Joel. They don't call me the warrior for no reason, man. That's just my nickname. In the military, when you get a nickname, it's because you earned that nickname. They don't call me the warrior for no reason, man. So keep on listening to Dirty Ike Cuffington while he's behind you. Keep on listening to you. That he's your daddy. That he's your puppy. Keep on listening to him. He's not the one that's going to get the whooping. It's going to be you. Keep on listening to the gayer guy with his freaking unicorn hair dress and his rainbow colored shirts. Keep on listening to that fool. See where that gets you. Yes, I'm gonna see it tomorrow. Uh, this guy called it spiritual talk and ignore negative, and he's talking in all these bad things. No, I'm just telling him how it is. I'm speaking the truth because I'm fed up with y'all's crap. Bunch of losers. Let's see. Beyond the Box says, "What is it called when they drink out of shoes?" I think I'm gonna call them the freaks, man, because that's what this seems like to me. They're freaks, man. They got a lot of issues, mental issues. They got drug problems because they're on drugs. I can do a drug test tomorrow. It'll be clean because I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs. I don't even drink. Right, so I'm clean, you know. But these people, man, they wouldn't go take a drug test because they come out hotter than hotter than jalapeno, hotter than uh what do you call those little peppers, those hot peppers? Yeah. So the only time that they grow a pair of balls, I'm not even gonna say grow a pair of balls. I'll just say when the only time they get a little bit of, I ain't gonna say manhood. They get a little bit of courage is when they're doing their drugs, right? Because they're trying to look tough and bad for their compañeros, for the people that they're partying with. Let's go over to spiritual encrypted encounters and go mess with HC's cousin Jesse, and well, let's go mess with them. We heard that Abe Science is going to be over there in Josh Turner's. Let's go mess with them over there. This is when they're high. When they're high, that's about the only time they surface up. Yeah, you're right, brother Joel. What balls? I haven't seen any. I ain't got no cojones. Man, if they do get a pair of cojones, I mean, the way that camp is, they got the Gary guy in there. They probably got cojones in their mouth, man. That's where they got them. They're not, like I said, they're not men. I think I'm gonna call them hashtag gender 301 balls in their mouth. I'm gonna identify them as that because the only time that they get talk shit is when they're high or they got the cojones in their mouth. Fucking maricones. Yeah, Fat Titty Covington. He's like, you said you're gonna hurt my family. I never said I was gonna hurt your family. What I said is it's not that hard for me to find you. You live in Harlingen, Texas. I have cousins in Harlingen, Texas. I'm from the Rio Grande Valley. The Rio Grande Valley is not that big to find where somebody lives. That's all I said to you. Then you make it a big deal saying that I'm going to go after your mother, your sister, which that's bullshit. If somebody did harm to that family, it was you, Fat Covington. What you did to your sister. It was you, in which that's why your mom hates you because of what you did to your sister. So you already did the harm a long time ago, or did you forget, or the drugs not making you function properly? You're the one that did that. You want to blame everybody. You sound like Roach King. You want to blame everybody else but yourself. You did the same thing that he did. That's why he's in trouble. That's why you were in trouble then. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I seen you trying to pop in last time. Where you at? Come defend yourself. Fat Titty Covington, get off that pipe, man. Get off the pipe. Pass a hit to somebody else. Come talk to me. You want to talk all that shit? Come talk to me. Tell me that I'm wrong. You coming right here with your regular profile. I'll send you a link. Come talk to me. Because I know Michelle is not going to talk to me. That's Mike's. Mike has something in common with a president. He's Michelle, just like the other Mike that is married to Obama. Mike Robinson. Whoa, Mike. He's a Michelle. He's Michelle. I'm thinking he thinks he's a female because he likes messing with females. And I'm not talking about messing with them as in relationship wise. He just likes to fight women like a female. Yes, I think he might think he is a female. Imagine him thinking is a some gender or something. Gender corn on the cob, gender chicken cleghorn. Oh man. Yeah, that's why they surface up at nighttime because that's when they're doing the crack at nighttime. So that's when they decide to come in. If I'm late at night, like around 3 in the morning, they'll try to surface up with all these fake accounts. Whether they're either high as a kite or they are getting off the high, getting withdrawals. So they have to take it on them. They don't got nothing more to smoke, so they can try to mess with spiritual encrypted encounter. And nobody's donating no more money to them. They're not getting the funds that they've been wanting to get, so they get mad. So yeah, the fat titty Compton, he's a piece of crap. That's all I can tell you. I never liked him since the first day that I saw him over there at the conference. Hi, my name is Chris. You might know me as Titan. I'm the one that I was a big part of what happened between you and Wolf. I was instigating a lot of things. That's what he said to me. I want to apologize. And I told him, why would you want to apologize? I don't even know who you are. That's what I told him. But he gave himself up right off the bat. He said he was a big part of of the games that were being played. He was upset because there was no fight. Right? That's what he wanted. He wanted a fight, either to for Wolf to get beat up, for me to get beat up, right? In which it never happened like he wanted it to happen because he was an instigator. He was doing it for a reason, right? So he could go report to the other camp. Oh, that there was a fight, so and so. Something happened that didn't happen, so he got him more pissed off. He's just a little bitch. Sister Brenda, if you were to see this guy, You probably drop him. You were security. You probably drop him, have him on his knees. He'll be crying like a. He'll be crying. There's no manly body, no manly bone in his body. Yeah, that's why I've been ignoring these people. But I say, you know what? They've been talking about me for a whole week now. You know, they don't stop. So let me make a talk about it a little bit. You know, I really never had a problem with nobody. I don't care about those individuals. Uh, since they were infiltrating, you know, I don't care about them one freaking bit. I don't care what happens to them. You know, I don't wish bad towards them, but I don't care what happens to them. You know, I'm doing my own thing here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. The video that I shared, what was it? On Friday, that's got over 1,000 views on TikTok right now. The one with Cerberus, the three-headed, uh, the hellhounds or the dogs that guard uh, the entrance to the underworld. That's got over 1,000 views on TikTok in one day. In one day, over 1,000 views. I'll show it to you. I'll show you the replay of the video. You want me to? Let me see if I can find it. For those that didn't get to see it, all right. He was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here now. He was under the other account. Well, I think his daughter might have been here. I'm not sure. Uh, in 7 days from the last time that I spoke to him, he said that he'll be heading home and that he's looking forward to come and doing live with me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in 7 days. Here we go. This is the one that has over 1,000 views on TikTok. Here we go. It's one head, and then it turns to three heads. There's the one head. There's another head right there, and another head right there. There's three heads. Let's watch it from the beginning here. Let me make sure that everybody's watching this. All right. I see you right there. There's one right there. There's another one there and another one there. So it's three heads. One, two, And this one that came in at the end. I'll let it run so y'all can check it out for a little bit. I'm gonna make a slower version of it for things like 8 or 9 seconds long, so you'll be able to see. Yeah, you'll have more time to see it, but I felt that I had to play it, and that's like it's lowered speed. Also, I lowered it a little bit, so you're able to see it. Yes. So when I'm out there investigating and I'm dealing with things like this, uh, I do need to maintain the Love Foundation when I do my investigations. I do have to keep my mind clear, and like I said, I have no hatred towards nobody. I just don't like it when people continue to target me and they don't stop. You know, I'm dealing with other things in the spiritual realm where they're trying to mess with people, try to get people angry and stuff. Yeah, this is from one of my most current videos. Yeah, I got the other one that I haven't posted yet, but I'll share it with y'all. Where it's I can move slow. I created one where it moves slower, so y'all could see it. Let me find it. I don't know where I put it. Alrighty, I send it over. Okay, let's take a look at it. How you doing? Casual conversation with GNA. How you doing tonight? Here it is, a little bit more slower, so I can see it better. Oh no, that's not it. Wait up. Guess I'm setting it. It slows it down a little bit more so you can be able to see it better. There we go. There we go. If that's a better, this one is better. I'm gonna put that one up because I think it gives you more time to be able to see them. If you think this one's better than the other one, let me know. I think it gives you a little bit more time to be able to see them with the eyes. That's like a I'm not sure how long the video is. It's like 14 seconds long. The other one that I was showing you was like 4 seconds, but this is a 13 seconds. I lowered the speed, so you're able to see them better. You can still see them move, but at a slower pace. But you're able to see them, I believe, better. It's three heads there, guys and gals. Where is viewing? There's one here at the beginning. Then it's just turning. It's another one down here. And then there's one coming in from the side right here. Boom. So it's one, two, three. Three heads. I'll let you get a look at that. Okay, let me take that off for right now. I just wanted you to, if y'all got the big screen TV, you can put this. I haven't uploaded this one yet, but I'm gonna make a short reel of this one too because it's gives it more time so you're able to see it with the naked eye. But I'll stop it for right now. There we go. I know Sundays is always kind of slow for me. I've been talking for an hour. It went by fast. I just had to do a little bit of venting just to say that I really don't have nothing against anybody. I don't, because I got them attend the Heavenly Love Foundation. It's just the only thing I can say for the people talking bad about me, trying to make me look like a bad guy, is check yourself in the mirror, man. Or reevaluate your life. Do something for yourself instead of messing with people and trying to come up against people in a negative way. Check yourself, man. The only reason I'm saying something about it is because that's what y'all keep on coming after me, and it's not like I'm afraid of y'all. I mean, you say y'all gonna do this and that, and you never did. It's like, ridiculous. Just let me do my thing, and we'll be good. do whatever you do and let me do my thing and stay out of my business. I'm not in y'all's business. I don't go into y'all's channels. I'm doing my thing here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I don't know if the chat is working or not because I don't see no movement or nobody saying nothing. So I'm going to put a hello in there to make sure it's working. Give me a topic to talk about, brother and sister. You want me to talk about something? I know it's spiritual talk and ignoring negative people. I've done that all throughout my life. When I was in the military, I would ignore the sergeant major. I'm not gonna lie. The sergeant major would come up to my face and just go off on me for no reason. He'll go off on me for about 30 minutes, like right up in my face. And I would ignore him like he wasn't even there. That whatever was coming out of his mouth, I just zoned out, and after 30 minutes of him blowing the fuse on me, uh, he would say, "Get the F out of my face." And I would tell him, "Is it all, Sergeant Major?" And he said, "Get the F out of my face." And then I would tell him, "God bless you. Have a nice evening." It would get him triggered. He'll get mad because everything he said or tried to do to me did not work. Because even then in the military, I wouldn't accept any form of negativity. Just like these guys that are wasting their time, you know, wasting their time with me. Well, it's like you could be doing something productive, like for example, going to rehab. Clean yourself up. To get back on the right path. Stop doing the drugs that you're doing. Clean yourself up. Uh, and it's never too late to change. It's never too late to ask God for forgiveness and repent for your sins. But it's a personal choice, right? Personal choice. So these guys, what they do is they get females to talk bad about me too. So the way I see it like this is, if a female wants to talk bad about me, we was taught, don't, be respectful to females, be respectful to Liz. But if a female wants to come at me negative way, I'm going to tell you something too. Because you're putting yourself in a situation where it doesn't pertain to you, right? So you come at me negative way, I'm going to let you know what's up, plain and simple. I don't care. You can flip it however you want to flip it. I don't care. You say something bad about me or anybody that's affiliated with me, I'm going to let you know, whether you like it or not. You want to make fun of me, I'll make fun of you. Male, female, it doesn't matter. God is a forgiving God, though. He will forgive you for the things that you're doing. How you doing, Sister Brenda? Yeah, it's like the chat when a little bit it stopped. Maybe people that are seeing here or seeing the things that I've seen. Do y'all want to hear a story of something that happened to me when I was the first time that I ever went to go work in the fields as a migrant worker? I can share this story with y'all, how old I was. How you doing, brother Scott Baker? All I can tell you, I was young, uh, like around. I'm thinking 8 years old, 8 years old or nine, somewhere around there. No, I did it. I had an aunt that lived in Arkansas, and her husband would do the fields. He was in agriculture with a tractor, and we went to work up north. Went up there to work to make money because, like I said, our town there's hardly nothing there, so you have to rely to go work as a migrant worker just to make money because your parents don't got the education, then you got to go make the money. So we'll go as a family. But I can share what happened to me in Arkansas. This happened in Arkansas. We was working. They had us working in the cucumber. It was some kind of cucumbers, but it had a lot of little. Uh, a certain cucumber that has like a lot of. Well, I'm not gonna say it was a cucumber, but it looked like a cucumber, but it has a lot of little spikes, and it stings on your fingers. If it punctures your fingers, it stings you. So we were doing that, but I didn't want to do that. So my mom got mad. She whooped me or whatever. Uh, so then they say, "Hey, they don't want to do this. Can you find us something else to do besides working and doing this?" Because it was a season for that. And so, well, there is cotton. Y'all can work in the cotton, uh, getting the weeds out of the cotton fields, right? The cotton was almost as big as I was in Arkansas. The dirt there is very, very red. So there we go, working in the cotton. You figure there's a lot of acres, but at the same time, there's all kinds of snakes in the cotton and stuff like that. Luckily, none of us ever got bit by a snake while we were working the cotton, as big as the cotton was. But we was doing the job, and that's something that not just I like to do, but my brother and sister like to do. So I was working in the cotton, taking out the weeds in between in Spanish we call it surcos, which is the aisles, right? Any cotton, any weeds that are around the cotton, we take it out so the cotton will be able to grow. And the cotton in Arkansas, it's very tall. So we were working there, and it was working in the field. In this field, as you went to the edge, there was a creek over there. It had water and everything, like a little creek or river. There's water, and I would see this. I seen this blackberry tree. In Spanish, we call them moras. Well, it was a blackberry tree, and I was eyeing it. They were purple because they're ready to eat. So I already knew what I was gonna do for lunch. So I was gonna get my lunch, just walk all the way across the field, and be right there eating my tacos. But at the same time, after I eat them, I was gonna eat some of those blackberries that were on that tree. So I was eating them, and my mom was looking at me because this field wasn't that long. So as I'm eating, I finished eating my tacos. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go eat some of this moras. There's a big old tree, blackberry tree. So I'm there and I'm eating the trees, and my mom is telling me to get away from the trees, not to be too close to the edge because there could be animals and stuff like that, right? And I said, "Oh, mom, I'm good, I'm good." And I was just picking the blackberries, the moras off the blackberry tree. So as my mom is telling me, get away from there because there could be something there. I could see on the other side of the blackberry tree, I could see the limestone of the creek bed. and I could see the water. So as I turned around to grab another blackberry tree, another blackberry, should I say, on the other side of the blackberry tree where I could see the limestone, I seen something looking at me. You know, it was looking at me the way the face was, like a grayish, leatherish skin, kind of like a gorilla of sort. The way the face was, when we talk about Bigfoot, well, this is what it looked like to me. When people talk about a Bigfoot, but it was just a creature that I've never seen before. Just put it that way. It was looking at me, and I was looking, and it was going like this with his finger, because it was eating the same thing I was eating. So we're looking at each other, and then I hear my mom yell again, "Get away from the blackberry tree!" So I look at her, and when I look back, whatever was there was not there no more. But it was there, was seen to me eating blackberries like I was eating blackberries. The fur of it was like a blackish, grayish. I guess it was old. And the face what stood out the most was kind of like gorilla like, like the leatheriest face. That's what I've seen, eating blackberries. And I'll never forget how it was pretty big, you know. I don't think it was humongous, uh, but it might have been, what people call a adolescent or whatever. So I went back. I didn't tell my mom nothing about it because if I would have told her what I seen, she probably would have given me a whooping. This is in the 70s, like 70, I'm thinking like 77, 78, somewhere around there. She probably would have whooped me for not listening to her, you know. And she probably would have said, "This, I'm disciplining you because you didn't listen to me." So, and this happened in Arkansas, Texas, Arkansas. We were working in the cotton fields. I know about work, not like some people that just get government just saying they're disabled. I've been working for a very long time since I was a youngster. So now that I'm older, I'm I guess ex-military veteran. You have a lot of from injuries from the military, so I get help from the government. But it's because I got injured in the military. Yes, brother Scott Baker. She could sense something. I think my mother had a gift, and I'm thinking she could sense something there. Imagine land that nobody goes walks or nothing like that because all there is fields of cotton. So you're not gonna catch somebody going on an extra tour walk through private property. So a lot of the land was private property. So that's what I witnessed. If it was a Bigfoot, well, that was the first time I encountered something that looked like that was a Bigfoot. Was when I was 9 years old. But like I said before, compared to what I capture with the manifestations that I capture like on the videos, that one I could literally see it, like it was like me in the flesh, but it was on the other side of the tree, looking at me. I don't know if I could reach it because of the blackberry tree was big, but he could probably reach me. Maybe he just kept on looking at me, and I was looking at it. But of course, we're seeing each other, we're seeing through the branches, right? The branches of the tree. So I'm just able to see parts of it. But yeah, it's on the other side of the tree, and that happened in Lubbock. I mean, not in Lubbock, in Arkansas. See, when I'm mixing up things like that, sometimes it makes me feel that because I had an incident that happened in Lubbock also because this Arkansas was one of the places where we would go work in the cotton fields, and Lubbock was another place I would go work in the cotton field also. So we've experienced a lot of things out there. Yeah, my mom was. She knew things. She was spiritually gifted. I believe she could sense things and know things before that even happened. So yes, it's 6:20 a.m. in the UK as now. That's cool. Yeah, I just was planning just to do like a little 2 hour show tonight, and yeah, of course tomorrow's Monday. I know Sundays is always kind of like one of the slowest days for me, but there's 36, 38 people here right now. I can share more stories, uh, uh, if y'all like, or I can share some pictures. I found this picture yesterday just by doing the live, and I believe it's a witch. If you want me to share it with y'all, I can share it, and it's in at nighttime. It was near a creek. The only thing that I had lighting, they gave me a little bit of light, was my cell phone. So I was recording this. So there's two parts to the picture. I got the full picture of it, which there's two things there. There's something on the ground, and then there's something standing. And I believe it's a witch and a familiar in a by a creek. Let me see if I can find those two pictures. This happened last night while I was doing the live. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, let me get out of here. Here it is. All right. Okay, here's the picture. Uh, this is the sun is already setting. I'm by a creek. Uh, I think I have a short reel where somebody say something very rude to me. Just put it this way. But if you can see right here, there's something here on the ground. There's a. It looks like it's sticking out his tongue out. Uh, Probably the familiar or a DDN that's right here. There's the eyes, the nose, the mouth. And you're like, well, where's the witch? If you look to the left here and go up, you're able to see See her right here. I wish I did a screenshot of her, but she's right here. That's her face, kind of like a hunchback. Looked like something else is standing beside her, but there's definitely something here in this area right here. I believe I got a. There you go. That's the close-ups of it. There it is. I know y'all can see her there. That's like her neck, her ear. There's her head, her hair. She's standing there, and looks like something else beside her right here. But that's her right there, and the familiar is down here, low to the ground. I just don't know which of those filters will make her stand out the most. I think that one's a pretty good one right there. I'll leave that on for y'all. See what y'all think about that. And I said she picked cotton when we were 10 years old. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I just have to go over the footage that I got, man, because I'm able to capture all kinds of things that I really didn't see the first time. But like this one, you can see her right there, standing right there. She's in black, and you see her face, her ear, her hair. But of course, she's in disembodied form or spirit form. The only thing that was able to capture was my recording. But I did sense something. My activity and my hairs were standing up and everything when I was in that area. Stop sharing that for right now. Yeah, one of the main reasons that I created Positive Spiritualist and Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Well, my first group that I created was Positive Spiritualist, was to keep a documentary of what I was going through in Elms Grove Estates, where I could place the pictures, talk about a little, say something about the picture when I captured it and stuff like that. And I was keeping it as I was annotating things of every time I experienced something, just in case something happened to me, that people, somebody could look at what I was placing out there on Positive Spiritualists. That's why I created it. So when you see me going off here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, it's because sometimes that's what I use this platform for. If I'm feeling a certain way because people come in a negative way, well, I'm going to address the issue. Not that I'm a bad person. I'm just addressing the issue of how I feel about that situation. But of course, that's what they like to do. They'll take a screenshot, they'll say something, and try to make it seem like I'm the bad person. How you doing, Linda? Yeah, you can't be afraid. That's a good thing you did that, brother Joel. I'm gonna drop a link here for Linda to see if I want to pop on here. Nons are tired. Oh yeah, chiles in the walnut, picking grapes, chopping weeds in the cotton fields, corn, alfalfa. There was many different agriculture work here in Central California. Yes, I see the videos of when people go. They're working out there in the fields. Where I come from in South Texas, there was nothing but agriculture. Also, just like California, we had all that, all those fields of cabbage, cornfields, citrus. But the only thing that I ever seen was like the only thing I never seen was like grapes. There you go. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, I couldn't help myself, brother. I had to speak about. So you know how I am, bro. If I have something to say, I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to say it how people want me to say it. I'm going to say it how I say it. You know, just being straight up. But I know you listened to the stories or you just got here. He was here earlier visiting me. We watched some wrestling. Uh, I was telling about when we worked in the up in Arkansas. Do you remember what they was trying to get us to pick off the ground? They had all those little espinas.
All the stickers.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know.
Like some kind of little cucumbers. You remember?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there was though.
That I got whooped because I didn't want to do it, and then they said, "Can we do something else?" And then they said, "Cotton." That's how we started working in the cotton. Remember? Up
It
in
was.
Arkansas.
You're talking about where it was there. They had the alligators.
No, the first time we ever went to Arkansas when we were kids,
Yeah, in Joyner.
it was Joyner, right? No, it wasn't Joyner. That's Illinois. It was in Ozuna or something like that.
I don't remember. I know there was one of the places that had the alligators in the canals next to the cotton fields. Remember, and we would hear them walking, and we couldn't see them, but we could hear them walking, and we'd be looking scared. Remember, to the sides on the sides of the cotton field, there was canals and there was alligators in there, and they would be following us on the side of the wood. We could hear them walking.
Was that in Arkansas?
Yeah, that was in Arkansas.
Imagine that. I forgot about that. I was telling them about the time that I know you were here of when I was picking the blackberries off that tree, and there was something looking at me, looked like a Bigfoot, or people like a monkey, or not a monkey, like a gorilla, like it had this leathery, grayish skin on his face. When mom was telling me to get away from the blackberry tree, La Mora tree, that was near the creek, and but I never told her what I seen because she probably would have whooped me.
Well, I guess you and her could see, because remember, she was like, "You saw that?" Remember? So you
Yeah.
and her could see.
There's Scott Baker right there. I'll let Scott Baker. He's a regular
Hey,
here.
how you guys doing?
And this time I wasn't even gonna do I just wanted to invite my bro. I seen somebody jump in here, the same guy from last time. Knights. Something Knight. Where you at, Knight?
Oh, the one who had the name Michael.
Yeah. I don't know who he is. Is it Corner Cobb?
Is he in the chat?
No, they showed up when I dropped the link. They showed up there real quick up on top, like they
Oh,
wanted to
wow.
be added to the stream, and I said no. I didn't accept them because they're not here in the chat.
That's weird. How do they do that?
I don't know. Did you ever work in the cut in the fields? His name's Scott Baker. You ever do any
No, I was no, I
agriculture?
worked. No, well, I was groundskeeper for a motel for a couple years, 10th and 11th grade, and my mom used to say, and I got a story about my mom.
Don't tell me it was a Bates Motel.
What's that?
Don't tell me it was a Bates Motel where you worked.
No, it was a motel, and I was like the groundskeeper. My mom said, "Well, you're not hanging around the house." My mom was like a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I'm the fifth in the family, and it's like, like you ain't hanging around the house. So, I started working in 9th grade, and the hardest job I ever had was working at a bakery. I had to come in and wash all the dishes, and angel food and wedding cakes and all that. That was the hardest job in my whole life.
Wow.
It was hard, without air conditioning, because, you can't have air conditioning with the dough. It's got to be hot, for the cakes to rise. And, you got the ovens to, put all the plates in to dry. And anyways, but I got a short story about my mom. Speaking about moms, I made a comment about mom's intuition. And so I was listening to another video this week, and it brought my attention to a story. And that's the thing, you listen to the other people and it brings up these memories that you get that you never thought about. But this is regarding okay, so my mom, it was just me and my mom living together, and my mom used to put lilac in water on the kitchen table. And so, when I went to school, she'd be reading the newspaper and stuff. Of course, there are no computers in those days, right? So I would get ready for school, and she always had that lilac. Lilac is that purple flower that smells. I mean, if anybody knows the smell of lilac, it's kind of lavenderish, kind of smell. So anyways, she always did that. She always had like flour in the water, and then the cat would get up, and lay it down on the table, and in front of her in the newspaper and all that business. Cats do that in the morning or whatever So I always saw that, and it's like, she never had like flowers in a vase or, stuff like that. And, but it was always this lilac, in a dish, like I don't know, like a small saucer, kind of thing. And it was purple and stuff. And, I would smell it and stuff, and never thought about anything. But here's the story. So my mom passed away, and I was living in a different state. And, I was doing dishes. And, all of a sudden I smelled that smell, exactly the same smell, So immediately, I said like, "Hi, Mom," I mean, I don't know, we don't know really what, what it's all about, we could only theorize, but, I was pretty sure like, like my mom, the spirit, or, whatever you want to call it, came to say, just made the presence of that smell. And, so I responded back, by, just talking to myself out loud, "Hi, Mom," kind of thing. So I thought maybe if any of the other listeners, may have, a story related to that on smells regarding, I heard another one, like a guy would say something like, it was the same thing, but it was like a pipe smell, or, like, Borkum Rift or whatever, a pipe smell that they would smell, from their deceased parents or family member or whatever. So I thought I'd just bring that story up just to, share and see if anybody else, had any kind of experience like that.
You smell anything like that, Jack?
No, just no.
Yeah, I've had those experiences. My grandmother always carried her little wallet, and she always had cash in there. And when she would open it up, there was a certain smell of money, right? So there'd be times where, when I was a teenager, that I could be coming from track practice, and all of a sudden I smell either the scent of money, but her purse had the scent of money and like a scent of like perfume. There was a certain scent of perfume that you would wear. So when I would smell that, it's like I knew that her presence was around me. Another one would be the one that stands out the most from my mother was there's times that I smell her tortillas. The smell, because she would make tortillas every day. So there's days that I could be walking or I could be at the store, and all of a sudden that the scent of the tortilla, how it smelled when she made them, will come to me, and I look around and I know that her presence might be around. But it is a big but. Not like the
Exactly.
song, not like the song with Big Butt. You got to remember that this DDN,
Yeah.
they can mimic sounds and
I knew you'd say that.
smells. They can do that, so you got to be very careful, not just what you're hearing, but what you're smelling.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's making you smell that? Because it's trying to find a way in, right? Your senses, your spiritual senses.
Bring down your defenses. Yeah.
So if you start inhaling like, well, that unclean spirit, as you're inhaling, trying to find out where the smell's coming from, it can transfer itself into you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible says, test the spirits, too,
So you have to be careful.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Bible is kind of loosely written that, when it says test the spirits. Well, what do you mean about that, Jesus? I know, Abe, you're always saying like, use the name of Jesus as, the key word, and stuff like that. But, at that time, you never think of things that quickly, and, because you're thinking like good, thoughts of what it is, of what, so, but yeah, you do need to be discerning about it all, like I said, or like you said, but, big but,
If you start smelling something and it's real close to you, better not breathe because it's trying to find a way in. I think you've seen the picture where I'm looking around and it's like I'm trying to hold my breath because I could sense something around me. In the picture, I got black all over my face and like there's something trying to go in through my mouth and through my nose because there's black all around me on that picture. I will have to look for it.
yeah.
How about food? Because when it comes down to spiritual warfare, sometimes people can put stuff in your food, in your drinks. Didn't you have an experience like that, brother?
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
somebody
go
put
ahead.
but it wasn't. It was a person. They put a Mickey in my beer. I had gone and I played a game of pool and I drank one beer and then we left and I went home and as soon as I unlocked my door and um, walked in, I fell right there. And then I woke up a couple of hours later and the back of my head hurt real bad. And yeah, they had slipped me a Mickey.
Yeah, you start praying, start saying the Our Father or type under rebuke in Jesus Christ's name, for it to go away from you, because it's trying to find a way in. You got to remember that there's disembodied spirits, unclean spirits, DDN, whatever you want to call them. They know what's in your mind. They know your memory bank. They know if you're missing somebody, a loved one, and stuff like that. So they're going to manifest to look like the loved one. They're going to mimic the voice of the loved one, or they're going to show you a sign of some sort to see for one reason and one reason only. So you could believe that it's them.
Yep.
Because if you start believing it's them, then guess what? All the things that you're going through, they're going to stop, but then they're going to attack you spiritually because you gave it the power of belief.
Yep. Because that's what happened. I mean, that's what's been going on with me lately. But when years ago, when our mother passed and I saw the Goat Man, that's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, "What the hell? It's that's real," because I saw it.
How did it look, brother, when you seen it?
It was half the waist down. It had fur and it had hooves, and then the top was human, and the face it looked like one of our uncles, and he was trying to hide in the shadow of a telephone pole. But I was in the truck with our aunt, and we were driving by right in front of our house, and it was on the telephone pole that's right there in front of the neighbors. Um,
Josefinas,
no, the other neighbors, and it was
Caballeros.
trying to hide right there. Yeah, it was trying to hide over there, and I was like, "What?" And that's what I thought it was real. But for me
So,
lately, you know how you just said that it's trying to create an opening, and like we prayed for my daughter's soul and all that, and I God gave us a boon that it was accomplished, but he didn't need to show that to me because I had already believed it when we prayed that it was gonna be done, right?
yes.
So these past couple of days, um, around 12 and 1, I hear voices, and I hear a voice that sounds like her, but I know it's not her, and I'm not falling for it. I know that she's safe, and I know that she's with him. That's
Yes.
why she's safe, and she's, and because God already showed me when we prayed, after we had prayed, I opened my eyes, and it was in the middle of the night, and the clouds opened like in a funnel, and it was all lit up, and she was in there, and she had 3 stars. She had 3 stars, one on her head and two on her chest, and she was there, and so I know that she's safe, and I know that He saved her soul, and that's all that matters to me. But the voices that I've been hearing, I know they're just trying to trick me, trying to they're trying to wear me down, but it ain't gonna work because I'm holding steadfast that I know that she's safe and God is still with me, even though all these things happened. Um, I don't hate God. He's good. He's been with me all my life, and He's the reason that I'm still alive. Where I would have been dead a long time ago. You know, I'm not sure what He wants me to do in the future, but I know that as long as He's driving, it's gonna be okay. I get sad because I'm lonely, but I'm never alone because God is still there with me, and it's all through Jesus Christ. So I just keep going, and I
So,
just see what He wants me to do. Go ahead, bro.
what do you think about like all these people, man, that keep on coming at me in a negative way? What message would you give them? I mean, I'm trying my best to live life and trying to do God's work. Like to what I do here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. What message would you have for them? A godly message for them.
It's like Scott Baker said, bro. He's all his life he's been with this ministry or that ministry, and he's been around this. Good people are gonna be doing good things. Bad people are gonna be doing bad things. Just like good people go and God uses them to do good deeds and all that, bad people is the opposite. And they're always gonna be there, bro, because it's the yin and the yang, the light and the darkness. But it's how you all did it the last time on your show that you all prayed for them, and it's true. God is they're still alive because God is holding out that maybe one day they're gonna turn to Him. If
Well,
He,
another thing I was investigating that today about this cyber harassment, and you know, it has some platforms, like contact your FBI, or they have some other links. So I went through a bunch of different links and stuff. But here's what, if you pray, about the situation, God will bring somebody into your life, or you'll turn the computer on, Abe, and like it'll be like boom, like wow, look at that, like that's what I was thinking of the other day, like who can help me or whatever. So we can't do these things. It's a spiritual warfare, like you're doing. I mean, you're the teacher of this thing, and you let God like take care of this business. And all of a sudden, you may look back and say, oh, I did this and that. And then going like, you'll look back and say, oh, I remember I saw that link, or I saw that person told me to call this person, or, email this person, and it got the ball rolling and stuff. But, the thing about how God works, God is so mysterious that He will not let on what He's doing, because we will screw it up. We screw it up every single time. And it's always the matter of fact, after the matter of fact, that we realize that, oh, this was God's plan. This was God, he put somebody or put a link or this or that, because we're failures, we're total failures, all we do is fall all the time, so God is perfect. We're not. So, you hand it over to God saying, Lord Jesus Christ, you help me with this thing, and, whatever time. And, they don't work on time schedule. You have no idea about, the time. Sometimes it's like it takes weeks, months, years, or it could take, 1 second. You could sign off here, and then you go to your email and have something on there. Who knows? But it's like, God is so mysterious in that way, which, I think we should find that very, encouraging, that we have a Father that can help us, with these difficulties in our life. And, this whole internet, slander, harassment situation that's going on, all I do is I read about stuff like, well, you got to take screenshots or this and that and this and that and this and that. And then, there's nonprofits, but, all this kind of stuff you can research. But, it all comes down to really, God, we're doing your work for you. And we've got some bad people that are spreading lies and slander. And, Jesus said, if it says it even in the Bible, he says, if you don't have justice, you have nothing, and, it's, I don't know if it's exactly in the Bible about that. It could be in Psalms. I'm not sure, or some scripture, but, that's what it is. It's justice, you deserve justice, with other channels too, about, these trolls that are causing this kind of mischief and slanderous, hurtful harassment, and, I think, again, I'm just going to repeat that, let God put that in God's hands, and, let the angels go to work, that's all we can do, so I thought I'd throw that out,
You're saying something, Jay? It looked like you were saying something.
Oh, I was moving the tablet.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, you've been doing that. You've been doing good. I mean, come on. Some of us, we weren't always good people. Sometimes we were bad, and until God showed us the right way. So I think it's like that for them. But you're right. There's only one person that can change the heart, just like God did with the pharaohs and Moses. He softened his heart to let them go, and then his heart got hard again, and tried to get them. It's the same thing. Only God can reach your heart and melt it. So only God can do that with them also.
Yeah.
Prayer.
Yeah, I always leave it up to God. I pray. But I use this platform to, if I have something to say, something that's happened, I'll say it. And then I just continue on with the show, like I'll be doing.
Yeah, and that's the way you do it. You spread awareness. The more people hear about this. Initially a few weeks ago or a week ago, I didn't know what you guys were talking about. And then I realized, wow, after the show, so like today, I've been researching like, oh, how am I going to help, these guys, searching. And even myself, I'm asking God, if you can use me to find something to help, people that are being under this, slanderous behavior that's so hurtful. I mean, it's not right, and so it's spreading awareness to everybody. Everybody on the channel and different channels, and the more people that see that, it's it's like an army, army of one, right? We go one, we go all, right thing, or so it's kind of like you have to have this consensus, like, the more people know about this stuff, the more, it'll be exposed. And this has been going on for a long time. This cyber, infiltration, my job, I used to take all these tests about cyber, infiltration and stuff. And, but even these tests that you take on, all this sort of thing, they don't, sometimes it doesn't really pay dividends when you have a podcast and these people are coming on, using a platform that can't be penetrated, a paid platform or whatever that's got a wall that you can't penetrate the wall. Well, who's gonna knock that wall down, to expose these people, because they're hiding behind a wall. They're hiding behind this cyber PayPal wall, whatever it's called. I forget the terminology of it, but again, only God can, provide, the answer for us, for you, Gabe, or Abe, like what comes up. So, it's all about prayer again, and the intent on the prayer too. I think what's really important about prayer is you honestly in your heart believe when you pray, is believe honestly, it's the intent and honesty about when you approach, God. It's, and because if there's a slight doubt or anything like that, I mean, you really have to be very 100% all in, on prayer.
It's true. You gotta maintain your heavenly love foundation. You can have no anger or hatred.
Yeah.
Me, if I sound like I'm mad, I'm not mad. If it sound like I'm talking loud, in which I'm always told by my wife I'm talking loud, it's because of my ears, from all the booms in the military, being on tanks. Yeah. It's like my ear is. It's like when I'm talking, I'm thinking I'm talking low, but I'm actually talking loud. My ears I'm gonna need help with my ears pretty soon, I'm thinking, because I've been catching it now where I'm talking real loud. And when people hear you talking real loud, they think you're mad, but I'm not mad. I'm just trying to talk about the situations, I say I'm a certain way, but I'm not mad. I'm just trying to say, how come we just can't all get along, do our thing? I'm not following nobody's trying to go into their groups or nothing. I'm just doing my own thing here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters,
Yeah, people get annoyed when you talk loud. I also have hearing aids, but I've worked in a lot of industries. I've had over 35 jobs in my life. I worked for the airline industry, and the headphones that you put on is they make it in such a way that there's a certain decibel that you still need to communicate with your ramp agents on, you're using hand signals and all these things, but you still need to talk and hear vocal, when you're working, with these airplanes or, with the jet engines or prop engines that are going on. So, these jobs that you take,
the
you get
tanks
that.
have turbine jet engines in them. That's what they are. So the
Yeah.
tank, the engine is turbine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's my ears, that and the
Yeah.
booms from the rounds, being to the gunneries and being in the front lines in combat. It's not just the tanks; it's the artillery that's landing, the MLRS that's landing. And we're hearing
Yeah.
all these booms. That yeah, it's now that I'm
Yeah.
older, it's I can see where my wife tells me to keep it down, but I don't know that I'm talking that loud.
Yeah. That's the same with me. I got hearing aids, but they're only aids. I still talk loud, and you know, um, but people do get annoyed. I was, at my job, several jobs, I'd be talking loud, and it's like, like I was always kind of a whistleblower anyways, a lot of jobs, and I'd be talking loud and people would say, shh, don't, you're the boss will hear, and you're gonna ruffle feathers and stuff. And I'd say, I don't care. Go ahead and fire me. I don't care. I've been fired so many times. So, it's kind of like um, it's just
You,
talking loud. People get offended
well,
by that too. And you
you
don't
got
know
fired
that.
at the you got
You
fired
know,
at church for talking too loud.
no, not at church, no. But I got,
Oh, okay. I
you
just
know,
play.
got a lot of stories about jobs, of being fired or I mean, 35 jobs. I think it's over 35 jobs, in my
Wow.
lifetime. And, some jobs were one day and, whatever. But, when you're talking loud, people get, they get kind of like, and then, because these jobs I had, mechanical noise, motors, you name it, but once your ears start to be affected by that, is then you realize when you hear those noises again, it does hurt your ears. When you're younger, you have earplugs in and everything, but still, once the damage is done, you go back into that industry or whatever, and it really is, it hurts your ear. You realize it really does hurt your ear. As when you were younger, it never did. You could kind of, your ears were able to absorb, with the eardrum and the fiber, the hair and fiber, whatever else that controls the hearing in your ear, is able to absorb that, even if you didn't wear earplugs. And some people are they're immune to that. I know a guy that he's a sheet metal welder and grinder, and the guy's he doesn't wear any ear protection, and I'm going like, how does this work? Oh my god, so yeah, you might want to start to invest in hearing aids, down the road, because it does help. That's for sure. They can also tweak it to take the background noise out too. It's very, it's a chip inside. It's a microchip inside these hearing aids, and it's very, very technically sophisticated on the way they. You can't fix them. If they break, you just get new ones or whatever. But they're very. I mean, it's helped me. It's helped me, and I had them even during my work and stuff. And I still talk loud because when you work in the different fields where you're working outdoors, you're always yelling. You're like, hey, you're yelling at somebody, or so you're so used to talking loud, into machinery and stuff. So it's kind of like you go into an office and you start talking loud. I mean, these office people are like mouses, they're like, they never hear any kind of noise. And then you come in and do that. I'm just getting off track a little bit, but they become offended because they don't even realize like what you have to contend, out in the work field, outside work, working with air conditioning and different, mechanical things. And, they weren't brought up in that industry. So, they get mad at you, but I just rub it in, I'll just, I'll say like, what'd you say?
I
You
remember
know?
when I went to the basic training, when I went to fire the gunneries, I mean the fire the personal weapon, man, that hurt my ears. Later on that day, my ears were real sensitive. They were hurting because
Yeah.
the firing of the rounds. You know, I could feel my ears hurting. That's we even had earplugs on. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But again, you have to, they have a certain decibel range where, the ear, whatever, brand they are, you still need to be able to communicate, language wise, to your workmates or, your work field. I mean, there's certain hand signals you can do, but still, you're using, your voice, so it's not, it's not permanent, protection at all. I mean, I would say it's only like 60%, so you're still going to have damage, to your eardrum.
Are y'all
I
seeing
mean,
any comments down there?
I don't see it moving.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I saw you lag a while back, like 2 times.
I was able to put that there now. It wasn't letting me put Howdy on there. I don't know what was the name of the little puppet. Howdy, Howdy. What was the name of the puppet? Howdy Dewey or
Yeah,
Howdy?
something like that.
Remember the little puppet, Scott
Yeah.
Baker?
oh yeah, Howdy Doody. Is that the puppet guy? Like, I mean, it rings a bell, but
Yeah, it wasn't. The chat wasn't moving. Okay, they're just listening. Thing. Oh,
yeah, being Sunday, people are getting ready, for Monday and that stuff.
yeah, getting ready. Yeah, that's why normally I do a short live on Sundays because everybody get ready for work. Yeah, Wendy Romero. Yeah, I think his name is Howdy Dewey or something like that. He was just
I
like a
didn't.
little cowboy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with that kind of, the cartoon kind of. That's like an old, like 1950s cartoon, isn't it, or something?
Well, it's a puppet.
Yeah, I thought they had a cartoon of that too. Like not a cartoon, but like a show. Like Captain Kangaroo, or these shows in the 50s or
They
40s.
didn't he
They
have like
used,
a handkerchief on his neck?
yeah, I don't know. They had these puppets. They would do these shows back in the 50s before even cartoons a lot came out. They had a lot of live shows where they had, puppets, or, they, all these hand puppets and stuff. And, uh, you know, I suppose Jesse would know about, a lot of this stuff because, you watch a lot of TV, but anyways, yeah, they had a lot of those kind of shows. Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon too. I can remember, um, they had like Captain Kangaroo. They had that show. They had puppets on that. You know,
Uh,
that.
what's his name? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah, that too. I mean, that was recent. It's like in a 70s or 60s, whatever. You know. And they also have like puppet theaters where like kids can go to. Like they used to have, I know my son used to go, they used to have like a playwright building, and you went to see these, like for kids, that were like, 5 to 8 years old maybe or something, but these puppet shows, where, the strings and all that kind of business, you know, uh, I remember that kind of bringing my son to one of those, puppet theaters, kind of thing. It's called, I guess.
Yeah. If people don't know, if people here are like, what the hell are they talking about? Here he is. Man, what's going on here? There you go.
Yeah, howdy doody. Yeah. Yeah, that was
Howdy
before my
doody.
time. Yeah, that's like something my older brother would watch or something maybe.
There he is right there. But there's like a modified version of him because the way we knew he looked different. And I got the older picture of him. He had the little handkerchief on his neck.
Yeah.
He was so popular that they would try to make us wear the handkerchiefs around our neck in Texas when I was growing up.
Yeah, all the toys back there too. There was nothing really battery operated, and there were a lot of different toys, in the different eras, the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and not like it hit the 70s and everything went plastic.
Here's another picture of him with his let me see again. I'm waiting for it to get here. There it is.
Yeah, kind of creepy, huh? Now these clowns and stuff,
Yeah, that's crazy.
This whole clown thing. I lived in Florida, and the Barnum and Bailey circus would come down in the wintertime, to spend, to get out of the north, and they would come down, and that train would go right by our house. Well, it was like two houses, and then they had the train tracks. So this train would come. So I'd walk down there, and you would see these, the circus people, outside, on the outside of these, these train cars, because they were going down to St. Petersburg, Florida, to set up their tents and all that stuff for the Florida circus and stuff. So it was kind of neat, you'd see this train, with these, with all the characters, standing or sitting, on the, the side of the train cars, to get the, to be outside, of course, because the train was only going probably like 15 miles an hour, because it was going through the city, going down through Clearwater, Largo, then down to, this was on the Gulf Coast, down to St. Pete. And I never went to the circus at all, but, I think they stopped that in I think it was the early 80s. They stopped the Barnum and Bailey circus. I think you'd have to look it up. I can't remember.
I remember the circus. But it's crazy, how the guy that's got the dolls it's like a clown. Then he's controlling the puppet, or you give him the puppet life in some kind of way.
Yeah,
then you get the puppets being haunted because they had a personality of some sort, but it was a guy's personality. Only God knows just by looking at the clown how many personalities that guy has.
Really?
Well, how brother was talking about people doing bad things. Only we know they have a lot of fake accounts, so they must have a lot of personalities,
Yeah.
just like this clown here. Look how the guy's looking.
Yeah. Yeah, they just have, it's a whole different ball game now, with this whole clown, they did a lot of horror movies with that too, and and pretty creepy now,
Yeah. Well, which is the one that was killing a lot of people dressed as a clown? Was it Gacy?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know too much about that, but
But there's been
like,
clowns in history where they've killed people, children.
yeah,
They dress up as clowns or they're in ice cream trucks.
yeah, and it's definitely demonic. You can see like what is, how is Satan going to use people to, you know, uh, to abduct, people or, that sort of thing. And, it's a very big issue right now, this trafficking business. So, it's the number one, this country, I think I heard from somebody, this country, the U.S. is number one in child trafficking. So, that's hard to believe, but, these are like statistics and stuff. There's like, they see like 100,000, kids or people also go missing every year or even more. I don't know what the stats are. You can look it up, but that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Unbelievable. With the type of technology we have, the police, and it's hard to believe, really is, but it's happening. It's happening. You see it all over the internet now. Being
I haven't
exposed.
run into a clown in the woods yet,
Oh
but
man.
I've heard noises like a clown will make. Like I was investigating one day, and I heard the honk honk, like
Yeah,
like those
the horn.
the
Yeah, that
horn.
horn. Yeah,
You know how bicycles back in the day had the horns.
yeah, yeah.
So I heard a honk honk. I'm like, the hell.
Oh man.
I've run into that in the woods. I ran into one time I was out there investigating, and I heard a harmonica play. I'm like, what? Where is this coming from? And I'm looking. I run into uh, somebody playing a flute out there in the woods. You can hear the flute being played.
Wow,
I
that's
mean, the only
strange.
thing I know that plays a flute, Greek mythology would be Pan.
Right, right. Yeah. He's like uh the gentleman is a Jack that's up there, the other
Yep.
person.
That's my
Yeah.
brother.
Because you mentioned that goat man, you know, that's the same thing what you were describing, that Pan creature.
I never heard the music. I would only hear that crying of the Llorona when she would come by the house.
The Wailer.
Come by it often.
Yeah, all the time. Every time it rained, she would come by the house and visit us
Well,
at nighttime. The Wailer. You heard the legend of the Wailer or the Llorona, Scott?
not me. Not me, man. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
You don't- Tell him, bro. Tell him what happened.
Yeah, we lived
Share the story.
on the last block. It was the last block, and then at the corner, it was the open field that way, and then there was some houses on the other direction, and it was like on the outskirts, right on the edge of town.
Hmm.
And I would always hear the crying, and I never saw her. I would only hear the crying. When everybody else saw her, I was asleep and I woke up and I didn't get to see her. Everybody was in the doorway standing there looking out and blocking the door so I couldn't see anything. And then everybody was just standing there like frozen. And
I
I'm
was
like,
blocking the
what's going
door.
on? What's going on? And everybody was like, it was La Llorona, La Llorona. And then somebody said, she went through the fence. And then somebody else said, she was floating. And then we ran to the gate. Well, we heard some tires screeching. And then we ran to the gate. And then we ran to the corner to go see. And somebody had gotten killed in that corner. Every time that she would come around, the crime, somebody will get killed in that corner. Oh man, little kids. It was bad. And I would hear her crying when I'm trying to go to sleep. I would hear her crying far away, and I'm like, well, at least she's not close. And I would go to sleep. But usually, when they would always were the ones that would always see her, and I would always see her, but I was always asleep whenever she would come by. But yeah, it was rough.
So this is in Texas, right?
Yep, South
Yeah.
Texas.
The Rio Grande Valley,
Yeah, it
South
must
Texas.
be, that whole Mississippi, the Cajuns and that voodoo-ish, angle. It just seems like Texas is kind of you know, gets infiltrated. Um,
She always wear a white dress, a wedding gown
yeah, strange.
like that, and she's always will come out when it was raining. If you're near by the creek or by the water, that's when she would surface up. Uh, the story of the Llorona is she had children. She was I guess a single mother, and she was dating a married man. She saw that the married man was gonna leave her his wife for her, but he didn't. So she got mad
Oh,
and thought that blamed the children, her children, that it's her fault, their fault that he didn't want to be with her. So she drowned her children in the creek or in the river, should I say? Uh,
Is that the only particular area that happened, or is there other areas in Texas or in America that is the same related to the? I mean, I've been hearing this thing a lot about this water spirits, stuff. But I'm just wondering about, is there any other parts of the country that you've heard the same thing going on? I mean, I've never heard this before.
yeah. So what happened is, I guess when she drowned, she killed herself too. After she killed the children, and God punished her to roam Earth looking for her children. Kind of like what he did to the Didian or the Nephilim, the unclean spirits, to roam Earth.
Hmm.
Well, it did the same thing to her, in which she roams like creeks, rivers, even by the ocean. Wherever there's a water source.
Oh
If
yeah.
you hear somebody crying coming towards you, and you're seeing white or somebody looking like that, that's a Llorona. So I don't know if you want to cross paths with her.
No way. You know.
yeah, right at the edge of right on at the end of the street. On the other side of the street, there was a canal over there, and that canal. So that's probably why.
You
Uh,
wonder about the story of Jesus sending the demons into the pigs, and the pigs went into the water. Just it's such a kind of a strange story. Like you know, this whole thing concept about water that these demons say the legion, right? So he sends these legion of demons into, these pigs, and because the demons say, save us, save us. And, so Jesus does something like, saves them by, instructing those demons to go into the pigs. But again, they dive into the water and drown themselves. But the whole story about that is very mysterious, because it's kind of like, okay, so they're going into the water. So what is this whole concept about, demonic going into the water? This metaphor, not a metaphor, but this true story that, what is Jesus hinting at? That, that these spirits are in the water, they're, these demonic, they reside. I mean, is that what Jesus is giving us an example of? I mean, why water? Why water? I mean, maybe it's close by or whatever, but it's weird that the whole story is real, like supernatural. Like, it's kind of weird. It's like super weird. Like, I mean, he's showing us, like, there's demonic spirits, but then they are attached to this, these hogs or pigs or whatever, and they're going into the water. So again, I mean, I'm trying to bring this, like, is this tied into this story that you're talking about water, about this, this spirit, in this water? Is there some kind of dimension in the water that, and I guess we talked about that before, about, I think a couple nights ago, there was a woman that mentioned this thing about, that lake in Texas, Lady Bird Lake or something, about that demon coming out of the lake and stuff. Because Abe, your connection got lost. That was that show that your connection got lost. And that was really interesting, man, what she was talking about. So there's something, and that I had mentioned too. While I'm listening to that show, I started researching Lake Lanier, because my parents lived on that lake. And since I read the stats, and since 1956, there's been 700 deaths on that lake, Lake Lanier. It's in Georgia. It's like the largest man-made lake, I think. But they lived on that lake, and they had a drought or something. They sold their house there, but then this big drought happened, and that lake dried up. Luckily, they were able to, sell their house and get out of there. But 700 deaths since 1956, that was like weird, So I don't know if this whole water, something's going on with, spirits related to water, lakes, rivers, oceans, like you said, I don't know. It's like,
well, there's a limestone in those lakes. Then they're able to manifest from that energy that's being absorbed by the sun. Which is, there's going to be a lot of paranormal activity there.
mm-hmm.
The things that are in the ocean, you got the sirens that were affiliated with the harpies. There were women who became harpies, which are lechuzas and sirens that are in the ocean. You got the leviathan that's in the ocean that certain people talk about all the time. You got many other things that are from the ocean. Just like there is on land. It just, you have to
I mean,
maintain
I
that
guess
having
you're
enough
right.
foundation and let the spirits, the Jesus Christ, show you what you have to do when you encounter something like that.
Yeah.
Pray
Well, these
against
are
it,
Yeah.
or tell it to leave. That is not welcome there.
I bind and rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name.
I
Yep.
bind and rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name. That's what you do.
Well, again, when you read these stats of these, and there was recently another death in that Lake Lanier just like a couple weeks ago of some kid you know, he disappeared with a life preserver or something. And that was, again, you have to listen to that show, Abe, you know, that a couple, you know, when you went off the air or you lost your
Yeah.
connection, because she said there was some kid that, you know, had a life preserver on and died in that Lady Bird Lake or whatever. And I'm not familiar with Texas, you know, on the topography and stuff. I never lived there, but the same thing happened to the, you know, like it could have been like a month ago or less, but the same thing happened to this kid in Lake Lanier, which is very strange coincidence. I mean, with life preservers on, I mean, you can look it up. I mean, you know, and do a little, you know, investigation, but wow, you know, it's like really strange.
Yeah, you know, lakes are dangerous, man. For water, I mean, look at all the people that lost their lives with the flooding we had here in Texas last week on the fourth, third, was it the fourth, 4th of July?
Yeah,
You know, a lot of
yeah.
people lost their lives. I think 60 people
I think I thought it was like 180 people
or
or
180
something.
now.
I don't know, man.
In, in
It's
one
pretty,
day.
it's horrific. It's horrific. I don't think they will even say the numbers, you know, but I mean, it's pretty horrific, you know, and, you know, camps and RVs and, you know, I mean, what do
The,
you do? And, you
the
know,
waters rose high that day.
yeah,
For them to
yeah,
be on the very top of a tree, that's how high the water rose
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in that creek.
And, you know, the
Probably
same thing.
taller than 12 foot, probably higher than that, 18 foot. Because there was
Yeah,
one girl that was way on top of the tree. She was on the very top of the tree. Like,
yeah.
only God
Um,
knows how high the water really was there in that location.
You know, here's an interesting little tidbit. My family, my sisters, they live in Asheville, North Carolina. That's where that Helene hurricane was stationary over that city. And I called my sister, and this hurricane was moving up through Georgia. And I told her, I said to her, I said, you know, they're predicting well over 20 inches of rain in the mountains. So, you know, when you say, you know, it's hard to kind of communicate with your family that they understand like what are the ramifications, you know, because I do a lot of research and stuff, you know, meaning like 20 inches of rain in the mountains, because Asheville is in a valley and it's surrounded by mountains. You know, you've got the Great Smoky, and it's in a valley. It's in western North Carolina, so it's just, you know, like a huge, you know, holler, what they call, you know, it's like just a low level area. They live in actually the north part, which is, you know, up from a lot of that. But here's the point I'm trying to make is, you know, they have several rivers that run into the lower parts of Asheville. But and by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but this river, the main river, it's called the French Broad River. And actually, this river, it runs north. It doesn't, you know, you would think these rivers, everything runs south, you know, in a river. I mean, you know, we have rivers that run east to west, right? But so I followed this river on Google Maps today, like, where does this river go? Because, you know, generally the topography, you know, is, you know, like in North Carolina, in Asheville, everything is sloped like towards South Carolina that way. So they lived in the north part. They didn't get hit with the flooding like the downtown section just got wiped out. But the point I'm trying to get to is rivers. You know, these rivers were flooded exactly like that Kern County, you know, event, you know, with that river. It was a river, monster river overflow. The same thing happened in Asheville. The same thing with that stationary front, whatever you want to call it, whether it was weather modification, you can make up anything you want with it. But, you know, the amount of people that were lost in, you know, in Asheville, North Carolina, as well as the Texas incident is super high. I mean, a lot of people lost their lives because they're, they live near a creek, they live up in the mountains and, that sort of thing. And once that water comes down, there's no way of escaping. You got one road to travel down. And I mean, especially in the mountainous area, it's even worse. But yeah, river. And this is, that happened last year, that Helene, or was it this year? I can't remember. But, here you have 2 river accidents, in this country that claimed hundreds of lives. So, it's pretty shameful.
Those rivers been doing that for centuries. I'm more sure if you look into the history, they've done it more than once.
Oh yeah, I've read that in Texas, but and here's another thing is we have dams and we have locks and stuff. They're pretty old. I mean, these go back way back. They have stone dams and a lot of this stuff is or earthen dams and stuff. A lot of this stuff is not. It's old. And if you have some kind of mega, storm system, it can crack these things open, because it's old. I mean, how do you repair a dam, right? I mean, these things go back, hundreds of years, and this stuff over time, they do patchwork on this stuff, but when you have these kind of humongous storms, it could really, the people are unsuspecting because they're, the realtors, they're in the, real estate investors and stuff, they're building all these places near these types of, waterways and, in Tornado Alley and all that stuff, I've seen all of that, but, these people are right on the water. So, when you have this monumental stuff, can take the lives of a lot of people.
Well, there's still flooding happening here in Texas still. This happened today in Lampasas. Let's see. Flooding in Lampasas. Yeah, there's still flooding happening.
And they got a hurricane that hit. I mean, it's hitting. Somebody asked me today, one of my friends, hey, did they get hit again? Did you hear? But I think it was like Charlotte, North Carolina, that hurricane, a lot of flooding there. But I think it was more on the coast, and there's a lot of these tropical depressions that are occurring. I watch a lot of these weather channels too, to follow this stuff. And so, it could be a pretty turbulent summer, with and hurricane season starts like in September, So I lived in Florida for like 5 years. We never had a hurricane at all on the Gulf side, never. So, of course, I don't live there anymore, but, I'm glad I don't because, oh my God, people's, the property insurance.
We used to live near the Gulf in the Rio Grande Valley. It was like 30 miles away, the ocean. So we've seen a lot of tornadoes come through. Hurricanes come through.
Yeah.
And tornadoes. Because there was when there was a hurricane coming in, we call them white devils because it was big ones that would surface up. No, bro?
Yeah, they'll suck the water right up. We had them in Florida too.
Yep, we went through a lot of hurricanes. Yep, we would never evacuate. We would always stay there. And the worst one, I think, was when we were little, was Busey. They got some little pieces of wood, long pieces of wood with trash bags. And they nailed those to the doorway, and the water was all the way up. You had to climb over the trash bag to get out, and the trash bag in the wood was keeping the water out of the house.
Yeah, that was high.
We were outside playing after the hurricane. we were swimming in the water till our mother whipped our asses.
The,
We're
the bad
swimming
thing
in there
is,
just like
there's not
that's
just the
sewer
water. You
water.
got the
Get out
sewer
of there.
coming up. The sewer coming up from the sewer because of
Yeah,
the
because
flood.
everything was
So
flooded.
you see kids jumping in the water and coming out, spitting out water out of their mouth. They're like, "Oh no!"
Oh boy.
Yeah, and those water treatment plants. I worked at, one of my jobs was working at a water treatment plant, wastewater and water treatment, and when those get flooded out, like what happened in North Carolina, Asheville, they have no water. They have no water, absolutely no water at all. So, my sister was telling me, she had to go down and walk. The power's out, everything's flooded, and she had to walk to the grocery store to get water or something. But it was only these, eventually, FEMA, they didn't do that, they didn't do hardly anything. And but again, it's water. I mean, you need water, to drink. So, but they shut all that water off, electricity off. I was down for like months, or not. I would say, I don't know how long. It was weeks. I'm just saying multiple weeks. My sister, I tried calling her, and cell phones didn't work, nothing. So my friend in Virginia was able to contact her through Facebook, but it's weird, when these catastrophes happen, this communication goes down, water treatment goes down. I mean, you better have your survival stuff ready, for
Yeah.
weeks. I'm telling you.
How many people are ready for something like that? I mean, shoot, I remember here when it froze, and we wasn't ready for that, man. You tell them what happened to you, bro, when that happened. There was no electricity.
Yep, no electricity. I was I was freezing. We were freezing. We couldn't get out because everything was all iced.
Yeah.
How long were you without electricity?
Oh,
How
a
many
good
days?
while. Other people had electricity, but um, I had to go buy a generator.
Crazy, man. Uh, I remember that we were out without electricity for about 3 days. 3 4 days. They shut the power grid down. The power grid down because they had to do a lot of fixing. You just went a power grid down. Like half of the town was working, the other half wasn't. I think they've been doing this stuff on purpose.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's something where we don't even know, like, there could be investors buying that land that they know they want to just destroy it to, build, a factory there or something else from overseas. We don't know. None of us know about this stuff really. I mean, we can all speculate on it, but we have, you and I mean, we're nobodies,
Yeah,
these controllers, they do what they want. And we just, again, believe in Jesus Christ and prayer to keep us safe, watch the minefields out there, and vigilant, about what's happening. And that's all we can do, you know, um, avoid these certain, things. And also about that, Kurt, that happening in Texas is people didn't even get notified on their phone about, emergency thing. That never came out at all. That thing never beeped on your phone, that national emergency weather stuff. No, nobody got anything, no notification at all on their phones, and you hear it all the time on your phone, right? They do the do, that stuff. But there, they didn't even have that, and that's a fact. You can research that. Nobody got an update, anything that was coming, sort of thing. You can look that up. I heard that, I read that. So
I think at the 3 hour marker, I'm going to call it a night. We got
yeah,
50
I'm about
minutes. You want to share a story, brother?
Well, I got some stories. I can't think right now, but I've got to
All
kind
right.
of get up early. I got a friend I got to pick him up at the airport early. So,
All right,
yeah,
brother Scott.
I think I'm going to sign off. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time.
All righty, brother.
All right, Scott.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. See ya. Thank you,
Good night.
guests, for listening. Thank you. Bye bye.
And it was weird when that happened with the freeze because I was in the house still, and everything was frozen. And I heard footsteps, like somebody running by the house, in front of our house. And then when I want to go look, there was footprints, but there was nobody because I opened the door to see who was running through my yard. There was nobody there, but there was footprints.
Yep.
That ever happened to you?
You already know when we were growing up how we would always find those footprints in the dirt, the hoof marks.
How you doing, runner? Yeah, I heard footsteps, and I want to open the door to see who was in front of the yard. There was nobody there, but there was footprints where they came to the steps, and then they went. And I looked. I went out there in the snow, and I was looking down the street. Couldn't see nobody. There was nobody.
Did the footprints all of a sudden just end?
No, yeah, but no, they continued,
Oh,
but there was nobody. There nobody was out there.
yeah.
You're welcome, Sister Ivy. So if it's not the freeze that's gonna get you, you get the water that's gonna get you. If not the water, then it's the heat. What else can happen? If it's not that, then you got the tornadoes and hurricanes. Just all kinds of crazy things that can happen. So right now it's still flooding in certain creeks and up here in Central Texas. That passes area, the creeks were being over. What do you call it?
Overrun.
Yeah, overrun or overflowed with water. I don't know. I haven't passed down Belton Lake to see how full of water that is, but yeah, that's not good. And it's still raining. I mean, it's not raining right now, but I'm more sure it's going to happen again. You know. I know we were talking about something. Yeah, we wasn't expecting. It wasn't even the news that it was going to freeze. Our son is everything's frozen.
Yep.
Somebody said it's getting high. I mean, I know floods happen like towards Mexico and all that because it's real low down, below sea level. So there's a lot of locations uh, along the coastlines that will flood, which would be a lot of the locations underneath sea level. That water will rise and all those areas will be flooded. Yeah, that's what we did beyond the box. Stayed in the car, turned it on, and fell asleep in the car with it on just to get heat. Oh, we had tornadoes too.
Yeah, we've been through tornadoes. Remember when we saw the three tornadoes coming down in the back in the open
Tell them the
field?
story, bro.
Uh, we were in West Texas, and I was outside. They were inside watching TV, and I was outside, and I heard the siren from the town going off. So then I climbed the cotton thing, the cotton
Jin.
trailer thing. I climbed a
Oh,
cotton trailer thing, and I looked up, and I was looking at the sky, and I saw the tornado. I saw the clouds. They were turning counterclockwise, and then I ran inside, and I told my parents, and they didn't believe me. They were watching TV. I told my uncle, and then my uncle believed me, and he came outside to look, and he saw it. Then he ran back inside and told them, and then everybody ran down into the cellar. And then we were going up the steps, and we were
basement.
looking, and we saw tornadoes coming down. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
We
Then
saw
what
the
happened?
tornado coming down, and we were looking at it, and then we saw it go back up, and then it formed into three into three tornadoes, and they all came down, and they were on the ground for a little bit, and we all went back down into the cellar, and we were just there waiting until it all passed away.
Yeah, they came real close because you could hear it sounded like a train. If you ever caught up in a tornado and you start hearing like a train, the sound of a train nearby you, yeah, that's a tornado because it sounded like a sound like a train. That it was very close. When we went up. It's like the cotton here, the cotton in the cotton fields was literally picked up by the tornado. All the cotton was picked up from those fields, no bro.
Yeah, it will make your ears pop. Yeah, when it's on top of you. Yeah,
We were underneath in the basement. The tornado. What do they call them over there?
yeah, that's the same thing. It's a basement.
Yeah, there were three of them, and they were black, and then there was. We thought we were gonna get run over by them because we lived out on the ranch, but thank God nothing happened. Any questions? Any questions from the viewers? We got 41 viewers right now. Uh, where's that night guy? Dirty Ike, are you still here? I'm thinking that's you. Are you still here with your night, or is that you, Cuffington? One of y'all popped in here with the night thing, but you wasn't even on the chat. Or is any trolls here right now? I'm just playing. You want to share one more story, bro, before we leave?
What did you want to talk
Anything-
about?
the what?
What did you want to talk about?
Whatever. Whatever you want to talk about.
I
The floor
mean,
is yours.
I mean, I know we will hear the Llorona and that, but that was back then. But then now, I believe that they saw the same thing, the DDN, just like the Bigfoot and the Dogman. I think that they want you to believe, just like the Llorona wants you to believe, and the Mothman and all these other things. I think it's all the same DDN, and just like I said, um, they want you, they want to create an opening, just like the voices. They want to create an opening, and for you to just believe, and then they can come in and attack. Because they
Yeah.
can't touch you. They can't touch you unless you have an opening. That's why, like you said, it's good to maintain the love foundation.
Yeah, I forgive people coming at me in a negative way daily. And if I say anything out of character, I ask God for forgiveness.
No, I don't think I've ever been in an earthquake.
I've been in an earthquake in California, coming through the desert when I want to go visit my brother. I think it happened in a small town called La Mesa or Mesa, where the earthquake happened. It just when it happened, I was driving, so I had the radio on, and they said we just got hit by a what was a tornado? It was like a 4 point something, or no. I can't remember what how big the earthquake was, but I was driving on the road and I really couldn't feel the difference. I felt something weird and I could see cars pull to the sides of the road, but I really couldn't tell when it happened. You got somebody named Traveling Fools. We've never been in a tsunami or anything like that, but I guess the floodings that we had, the water will rise, don't bro?
Yeah, but like I said, we never evacuated. We would always
Yeah.
just stay there.
Sure, I remember when it would flood so bad that the water would be sitting there for about what a month.
Yeah, that lasted a long time. Then everything was all muddy and
About a
for a
month
long time. Yeah.
being underwater for about a month. Then the nasty smell of the
Yep.
water and the mud and oh my god, it was nasty. Mosquitoes.
Oh, that's one of those times is when you got attacked by the rooster, and it got you on your Achilles heel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I would tell them the story of what I would do to the rooster, bro.
yeah. Our our father used to work in a feed store. And he brought some baby Easter baby chickens, right? Baby chicks, and then they grew up, and one of them was a rooster, and uh, Abe used to like to chase the chicken around the little chick. He would chase it and chase it,
It was a
and
fighting rooster. Fighting rooster.
it was turned into it grew and it turned into a big rooster, and it was all flooded. Everything
I,
was
I would
flooded with.
pluck. I would pluck the feathers because had colorful feathers on the tail. I plucked them all where you could see his little butt. He had no feathers. Took all the feathers of his tail. You know, took all his feathers from. So my mom said, one of these days the rooster's gonna get you. And they said, when he gets you, I'm gonna be laughing at you. Then what happened, bro?
No, everything was flooded, and he was out there playing, and then the rooster came and just attacked him. I looked outside and I saw him screaming and running through the water, and the rooster got him on the heel, and there was blood everywhere. He was just leaking blood. He got him on the Achilles real bad, and
Yeah.
then yep.
He took the skin from underneath my feet off on both feet. that when I walked in the house, I was all scratched up from the back, and the bottom of the feet was bleeding all over the place. And what did my mom say? What did mom say?
I don't know. I was looking at our father where he went outside with a 2x4 and smacked it, and then he thought he killed it because he hit it with a 2x4, and I thought he killed it too. But like freaking 10 minutes later, the rooster was up and all the feathers were ruffled. He was pissed. He wanted to get somebody.
Yeah, I was mean to that rooster, man. Sorry, chicken cleghorns, for plucking the tails off the feathers off your tail. Now, he got me good, man. My mom was laughing and she told me, "I told you I was gonna get you. That's what you get. That's what you get. Let me see your feet." She grabbed the alcohol, poured it on my feet. Freaking burned me real bad. Yeah, blood was. I didn't even go to the doctor or nothing, no, bro, for stitches or anything.
No. Well, at least you didn't get hit first. She would always hit me first before she would look at me.
You know, she said, "Andale, andale. That's what you get."
Yeah.
And I think that they killed the rooster.
No, we gave the rooster away to our uncle who had a lot of chickens and roosters, but that rooster was so mean. He was fighting all the other roosters, and then he tried to attack our aunt. So then our uncle he killed it because it tried to attack our aunt when she was feeding it all the chickens.
It's my fault, guys. Made the rooster mean like that. But you learn from all that. You learn that not to be mean, but you learn about love as you grow, right? Nobody's perfect. Yeah, but a lot of those roosters, man, they're fighting roosters. And I remember my friends had roosters that would fight and stuff like that. That's illegal in Texas, by the way. They put like boxing gloves on the roosters' feet, and the roosters be punching each other with the little gloves. But then when they get in the death fights, they put like claws on them and stuff like that, like blades, and they go for the jugular. But yeah, it's not good doing that to animals. Kind of like dog fights, where people train their dogs to fight. That's not good. I wouldn't do that to Rebel or to none of the dogs that I got, man. Yeah, we gotta treat all of God's creations with love, with heavenly love. Traveling fools, if you want to jump on Tuesday, you're more than welcome. I think I told you that last time that you Tuesdays and Thursdays is open mic night. You want to jump in? Is there anything else you want to say, brother, before we call it a night? I know you got to work tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want
No,
to say to
just
the viewers?
thank you everybody for coming in, and uh, God bless y'all, bro. You're gonna do a prayer or something, or
Yeah, you can lead the prayer, brother, or I can
no? Go
pray.
ahead, bro.
Heavenly Father, at this time, we'd like to pray uh, for everybody that's going through something. We would like to pray for cousin Jesse. I would like to pray for my brother and for everybody that's going through something spiritually or people that feel that they're being spiritually targeted by the unseen forces. We'd like to pray for you, Heavenly Father, to place heavenly spiritual crosses on us from head to toe. Place heavenly spiritual crosses on our doorways, on our windows, on every passageway in our homes. If there's any unclean spirits, any witchcraft or necromancy that somebody might be trying to do, we take authority over them in Jesus Christ's name. We tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. You're not allowed to affect our body or vessel. You're not allowed to affect our foundation, our homes, or none of our loved ones. Again, we tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Be gone. We call upon the Holy Spirit send the Holy Spirit to do a clean sweep. And for every time that this unseen forces that they're trying to deceive, for you, Heavenly Father, to break their manifestation and show them their true nature of what they really are, so we can fight against them spiritually through you, Jesus Christ. This we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
And saying that, brothers and sisters, this is Spiritual Encrypted Encounter signing off. Thank you for all those that tuned in. And for the people that keep on coming at me in a negative way, it's never too late to change your ways, man. It's never too late. If you want to speak on here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, come in with your regular name. Don't come in here with a fake name. Come in here with your regular name, just like I use my regular name here in Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. You got something to say to me, and you can talk to me on open mic night, Tuesday and Thursdays. Like I said, come in with your regular name, not with a fake profile. And saying that, good night, everybody. God bless every single one of you. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Was it Paul? Thank you, Paul. Brother Paul. Thank you, Andres. Thank you, bro, for joining me tonight. Scott, thank you also. Traveling Fools, Tuesdays. Join us Tuesday. Open mic night. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we got open mic night. In saying that, this is Brother Abe CS, RCS signing off. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Have a blessed evening. And always maintain the love, Heavenly Love Foundation. And no matter what the situation is, right? You have to maintain it. And if you went up in a situation where certain things are happening, don't believe into what you're hearing, but take authority over it in Jesus Christ's name. Type on the rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. And the unseen or the spiritual enemy, unclean spirit, will flee. It will go away. Good night, everybody. Peace out.